So we're going to make a video of two bolt-ons that we have for academic advisement. One relates to exceptions and one is something called markups. I'm going to go into the advising report. I'm showing you this in 9.2, but it'll work just the same in 9.0. So we go and look at the report. You'll notice that we've added, using related actions, we've added some options for each requirement group, requirement, and line. So if you go down, say, for example, the line, you right-click this, and the related actions are either create an exception or create a markup. These are controlled by security, so you can control who has access to these. If we create an exception, you can see that we are pre-filling the ID, requirement group, and line. And so all you have to do is enter the minimum required information to create your exception. Let's go ahead and say we're going to substitute a course, art course, and you can fill in long description. You can do a waiver. You can change the units. That'd be a requirement override. I think it's called an override. Or we can substitute or exclude. We can so what this is going to do is call a component interface. Let's go ahead and select a course, and we're just going to say, you see that we can insert multiple courses as well. And let's say we're going to substitute also. Let's do another course. Clear this out. We'll do Art 40 and 142, create exception, and we're done. The page will refresh automatically. We'll see that in just a second. There, the page is refreshed. There's the 120, and we see that we substituted the two courses here. So what that did was we called the component interface and created. So we actually just take that information and pass it to the delivered student exceptions. You can see here's the course directive that we created. So as I mentioned, let me show you a little configuration on that. We do have career security around that, so you can control which of these features is available by the student's career. And operator security also controls access. The delivered page security controls access to the related action itself. So you can give it to certain advisors, for example, or staff. Let's see, exceptions configuration also here. And so the configuration here relates more to the markup tool, which I'm going to show you in a second. Because the markup tool has the ability to send emails. So let's go ahead and show you the markup tool. I'm going to go back into the students AA report, and we'll look at the other option. I'll go to that same line, the 120. The other option, right-clicking here, is a markup. Markup actually, you can see again we strip off the header information so that you only need a few clicks. Markup can use standardized notes. Say for example, so we'll show you there's a note table that you can set up that has standardized notes. Or if you have security to do so, you can actually just do free format text as well. So I could say you only require 110 units, something like that. This is rich text, so you can color code it. Think of these as kind of like sticky notes on the student's advisement report. Let's say you just wanted to have red font and not and no shading or yellow shading. So you can do whatever is delivered with the. I thought I chose yellow. There we go. We do capture a date timestamp, operator stamp here. You can choose either to have this verbiage replace or append to the delivered description here. We're going to go ahead and append it there. You can choose whether or not you want it to display on the report, which you'll see in a second. And then we also have these notification functions. So depending on the configuration, you can have advising staff that are notified of this markup. You can notify the student or notify the student's advisors. So we're just going to save this. This will refresh the report automatically, so you'll see the markup appended here. So this markup will show to students, anybody who views this report online, students, staff, or advisors will see this here. That's the markup tool. We think of it, as I mentioned, as sticky notes. There is configuration around that. As I mentioned, the markups, you can configure the email piece of it, the notification piece of it. It actually just doesn't use the notification framework. It just fires off emails. Oh yes, I mentioned, the security. So here's operator security based to control who can use the standardized markups as opposed to the free text markups. And then here's the markup notes table. As I mentioned, you can have canned notes that are preset, and you can limit operators to using only the preset notes as opposed to free text. Okay, so that concludes my demonstration. And as I mentioned, the intention of both of these bolt-ons is to try to turn the advising report into more of an actionable location to both to communicate information to the student and also to make exceptions easier so that they can be decentralized out to departments if necessary. And as I mentioned, if you wanted to, we could also turn on the markup section in the Student Center, which might make it then a two-way communication tool. Thank you very much.